Alright, sewing, point shoe, ribbon, and elastic. I'm going to start by showing you the end product. This is the first one I've done. You can see the ribbons along here, and they're going to be sewn at a slight angle forward because that's how they tie around the ankle. And you see the elastic goes around the back, but it doesn't touch the beginning. I mean in the middle. Because the Achilles tendon, we want to sew around it. I'm going to flip this inside out so you can see a little better. I like the way I did this one a little better than this one. I'm trying to stay as close to the edge as possible so that the elastic doesn't come down and rub and aggravate the girl's heel. And you can see that I did it at an angle so that it makes a loop around their ankle. This is what really helps hold the shoe in place. It's very important. Actually doing this one, I sewed it too loose and I had to rip one out and do it again. So it's been about 20 years since I've sewn a pair, so I'm still learning. The ribbon, back inside out again, you can see is sewn all the way down here, big square. Because then it's better to pull. Just like if I was going to pull with my fingers, I'd rather get a good chunk of the material as opposed to just pulling from here. And you'll see, you don't have to worry, like the canvas on the inside is separate from the satin on the outside, so you can see, you can't see the needle because there's two layers. Once in a while I look, I even got, there's a tiny stitch, if you look really close right there, that came through, and it's no big deal, really. You're not going to see that. But, so when you're stitching, you're just going to try to just, grab the top layer. What else? I guess that's it. Oh, I know, the drawstring. Make sure your drawstring is unknotted so that you can pull and you can feel it moving smoothly, because you want to make sure that you're not sewing on the drawstring. So you can see my stitches are right along the same place where the other stitches were from the shoe. So I'll hold right here. I'll pull the drawstring if I'm worried that I got too far over, and then I can feel the string moving, so I know that my drawstring isn't sewn into the shoe, because we want to be able to have control over that. Alrighty, let's get started on the other shoe. So this is what your shoe looks like without anything. It should have come with an elastic like this. I just cut it in half. And of course ribbon that you cut into fourths, because you need 2 ribbons per shoe. And don't worry about the length of it. After Miss Grace shows them how to tie their ribbon properly, then we're going to trim it for you. So just leave that. And there's also a thing that we do with the shank that we will do in class, so you don't have to worry about that. So let's talk about the ribbons. So to find the point of where to sew the ribbons, you're going to lay this on a flat surface. You're going to run your finger up the sole. You're going to go off the edge of it, and as soon as your finger touches the back of the shoe, that's where you're going to fold over. Let me show you this way. So I'd have it flat on the table. I run my finger. As soon as I feel my finger touching the back of the shoe, I fold this over. Now make sure too that you don't pull it, too much to either side, because that's going to mess it up. So I find that spot, I fold it over, and make sure that the seam is centered. I pull them out again. This is flat on the table, and this point here, you can see I already put a mark on it. That's the spot where you're going to mark it with a little ink, but use ink, not Sharpie, because that'll bleed through, and that's where your spot is to sew the ribbon. So now you're going to take your ribbon and you fold it shiny side to shiny side, so it's about 1 inch overlapping. The shiny side is facing away from me, because that's going to be on the outside where the pretty side is. And you got to angle it. I don't know about the degree of the angle, I don't know what you would call that, but this straight up wouldn't work. it would buckle just like it's buckling now. It's got to go forward because it's going to go forward in front of their ankle. Now, I want it to be, I'm going to pull this up a little bit. I want this to be straight across. I don't like this part hanging up here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut. I'm going to pull this like this. I'm going to cut it this way. Just a little bit. So now it will angle with the shoe. So now again, the drawstring is going along in the casing right here. I'm not going to be sewing up there. I'm going to get this a little bit under that. I'm going to be catching that when I sew it. So now I'm going to cover this up, and I'm going to be sewing right along here, down and around. So you get your needle and thread. And again, I'm just pulling, I'm getting the ribbon and then a little bit of the shoe. And I'm going to really make sure this corner is good because it's a very important area there. Now, I'm going to keep my thumb, keep that in place. I'm going to go along here, right where you can see the machine has sewn the shoe to begin with. So I'm going to go in and out, all along that. Now I'm catching both ribbons. Now again, at any time you're concerned that you've got the drawstring, just grab the drawstring. Oops, wrong one. Grab the drawstring and pull it, and I can feel it sliding easily through, so that's all good. So all the way down to the end. Oh, my ribbon slipped a little bit. Get back there. And now I'm going to get around the edge here, make sure that I get that corner down. Okay, so that's my first pass across. You can see that it's underneath the casing. So now I got to come down on the inside. And you can see that there's still that angle going on. If I went straight up, it would buckle. And now I'm going to go along this outside. Again, just grabbing a little bit of the canvas. You might want to look and see. Oh, I got it. No, I'm good. If you get a little bit of the satin, no big deal. And I'm going to just go like this. All along the edge. Once in a while, I'm going to flatten this out to make sure I don't get bumpy. Oops, get out of there, drawstring. Is that the cat? Chickens? Oh, chickens squawking. Fun sound effects here in Halifax. Alright, you gotta pull back a little bit, Gia, so I can get my arm. Okay, so I'm getting to the corner here. And I'm just gonna go right along the bottom. Turn it to make it easier for myself here. And now it's pretty secure to the shoe, so shouldn't be sliding anymore on me. So again, we go down this far because it makes it Makes pull the ribbon a little better. I'm going to turn it inside out here. So I can get it. See, now I can get in here a little easier. At the home stretch here, now just because I'm the way I am, I like to go across one more time. I'm going to go across here one more time, and I'm going to end here. And then you do the same thing for the other side. And now we're going to the elastic. Now again, the center of the shoe here is where the Achilles tendon is when they have the shoe on, and we don't want the ribbon to be right on the Achilles. So we're just going to go right on the outside. There's two little seams here you can see. So I'm going to put right at the edge of that seam. Now the thing is, if I were to sew it flat straight across, it would be going straight up, and the elastic does not do that. The elastic is going to curve around the ankle like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at that and see how I don't want a lot of extra elastic hanging down, because again, I don't want it to rub onto their ankle. So I'm just going to eyeball it here and see how much of an angle to cut here. And then I'm going to look again just to see if I like it. And that seems like, you know, with her foot in the shoe, it's again got to come forward and around. So then I'm going to do just like with the ribbon. I'm going to grab part of the canvas and I'm going to go along the bottom here first. Putting my stitches kind of close together. Oh, I could feel that getting the satin on that one. Now, get right to the edge there. Now I'm going to go across just like I did with the ribbon. Looking up at that drawstring. Back and forth. Is that in focus?
Yeah.
All the way down. Oops, now that's kind of high, so I'm going to check my drawstring. And my drawstring is moving freely, so yay. Pull it back open. So, and just like the ribbon, you can see that there. I don't want it to come, again, I don't want it to come down too low because I don't want this to bother the girls in the shoe. The next part is the trickier part, because now we got to figure out how long. I'm going to show you how to put the shoe on that we've done already. There's two ways to do the gel pads. You can put the gel pads on and put your convertibles over them like this. I think Gia has found that she likes just doing it this way better. But they can experiment with it and see what they like better. So now she's got to put her foot through the elastic And then you gotta be careful, they shouldn't be tugging too much on the elastic to pull it on. So I'm gonna let Gia take over from here. She's gonna pull the shoe on using the shoe. And again, Pointe shoes, they've got to fit tight or else they don't work properly. If they go up on point and they're too big and they slide around, that's not good. So, just got the elastic in. And you can see that, you know, the elastic's doing a lot of the work. I really got that. When it's got to feel good when she's up on point, and it's got to feel good when she's standing flat. I'm going to come over to the new one here. So I've got the elastic on one side. If I were to just lightly pull it here and go up on point, Gia, see what happens. It gets too low. So you've got to check it, but it's got to be comfortable in both positions. It's got to be comfortable when it's flexed, and now bring it up to point, Gia. Oh, too loose. So now, can you come a little bit more this way? So I'm going to do it from this position. Nope, start up on point. I think it's easy to start here. Give it a little bit of a tug, and I'm going around to where it's going to end. How does that feel compared to the other one?
It feels looser than the other one, just a little
Looser.
bit tighter.
So now, that doesn't feel too tight.
That's fine.
Push up again. One more time. You stand up on it. How's that feel?
I think it's fine.
It's fine. Alright, so now I'm going to really double check here. Now you can see I slid off a little bit. It's supposed to be back here, so I'm going to do this one more time. Alright, Gia. Now, how does that feel? Feels like it's holding on. She's still got some snap there. How does that feel?
I think that's fine.
That's fine. Okay, so now I'm going to, without losing my position here. What do I do with my scissors? Oh, thank you. Can you turn your foot a little bit turned out there, little one? So now again, it's going to be a little bit of an angle. I'm going to be sewing along down here. So I'm going to cut it a smidge longer than that. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get it started and then do this. So I don't rip it tight or whatever. Cutting it at an angle. And again, the first time I did this, I did it too loose and I had to redo it. Now I'm going to double check again before I sew it. Holding it about where it's going to be sewn. How's that feel, Jade? Whoops. Do that again.
That feels fine.
That feels fine. Okay, so take this off. So now what I'm going to do is go back in just like I did the other one. Coming around this way. And line up right to the edge of the seam there. And somewhere about there, and I'm going to sew that on there, and then she is going to be done. Again, we will trim the ends of the ribbon with the girls, their first class, and we will work on their shank to get it in the right place. So good luck, and have a seam ripper ready in case you need to take something out, but I'm sure you'll do great. Thank you very much.